Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we hop on the charts on this beautiful Wednesday, January 14th, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content. Lights up on futures, code RDF, Bookmap, Edgeful, Trade Sinker that I've been talking about, and others. Tried to list them all there. Can't be unbiased if I stand to make money, which I do. Important for you to do your own research, make your own decisions. Chat, how we doing, guys? First off, we are here on StreamYard because we got special guests coming on the rest of the week. I know you guys like guests. I like guests. I like to get that fresh perspective, get some more people trading live on here with me. Let me know if you can see and hear me. I think the stream looks pretty good. Just go ahead and let me know if the audio is good, and then once we get our special guest Christian Williams loaded up, aka Decipher the Algo, somebody let me know if that looks and sounds okay. Also, I can't ever really get the feedback to work correctly on StreamYard for some reason. I think it's okay. Every once in a while I get weird comments, so let me know how that sounds for you guys. Tom, what's up? Muhammad, what's up? Let's get the good mornings in. Dwayne, what's up? Paul, good morning, good morning. Alan, good morning. Slothfather, good morning. Nate, good morning. Pam, good morning. Jamie, what's going on? What's going on? Glenn B, the winner of a Insta-funded account from yesterday or the day before. Can't remember. Miguel, Rhombus, Digital Nukes, what's up? Mike Z, what's up? Ezal, what's up? Dwayne, what's happening? What's happening? Audio much better now. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I think it might like dull me down once I get a guest in here, but we'll see. We'll see. I can't ever wrap my head around it. But let's get a quick look at the markets before we get ready to bring a guest in. Tough start to this year, guys. Tough start to this year. As you know from yesterday, quick review. No trade on Monday. I was an L yesterday, man. Pretty not so hot start to this year in the Top 1 Futures live account. Talk about that real quick, man. I'll say I executed well on the losses that I did take. The missed opportunities, the really close to being a nice winner, but a stop out, have just added in to started to pull me into some drawdown. Nothing too crazy, but still have quite a bit of room to work in this account. But a couple more, and we're going to approach the danger zone. For me, I'm not going to slow down and size down. I'm not going to cut risk in half or by 75% and work towards really small profit, and lower the risk of ruin. I've held on to this account for quite a while. My goal is not to blow it, but I've held on to this account for quite a while, going on to the 4th month of trading it, 11 payouts in. I am trading it. From the beginning, I was trading it a little bit more conservatively just from a risk perspective. I've been trading it a little bit more aggressively, but really not anything changed by way of not taking on larger than $1,000 red day on any day of trading. I'm happy to say my risk management has been very tight in that respect. But relative to the account, this is a 15K pre-live account, and they're really not going to want to let you lose all of the 15K in the account. That's quite a bit of risk, right? If you had a live account, you're taking on $1,000 worth of risk per trade, and maybe you've got an $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 live account, you're risking ruin in that account, right? Even with a pretty aggressive win rate, you are risking ruin in that account. Eventually after a really bad streak or just a handful of losses digging a hole. But as a whole, I'm going to keep trading away on this one. Normal losses given my win rate and risk to reward. Totally normal stuff. Again, executing a little bit better on some potential opportunities would have not generated a losing streak. In fact, probably would be around break even for the year in this account specifically, but part of the game, man. Unfortunately, outside of this, live accounts, as it usually goes, the opposite, right? Green across the board, but that's part of the game. So here we are opening up. I left my levels on from yesterday, which I'm doing more and more. Really simple stuff. I went over this the last 2 sessions. If you want to go back and watch the last 2 live sessions, you can see how I'm marking these very simple discretionary zones. They are being respected really, really cleanly. Even where I got long in here yesterday, you can see the fight that was put up here for quite a long period of time, really hammering into lows before we eventually broke it, drifted lower, and then got a little bit of a pop before the close and closing out around the lows of the day. So we've respected this lower zone. This is coming off of prior day's high from yesterday. This is going to be Monday, the 12th high. We've respected that so far. Popping to the upside here after opening up down below yesterday's low here on Tuesday, right? We got an untested volume point of control. What I'm starting to view this as, though, guys, honestly, and getting involved here long, again, I like the execution. I like the trade. This is one that I got to take almost every day. Again, really where my critique on myself is just, missing trades as far as being able to capitalize on opportunity, right? And take that nice upside win. Some frustrating stuff over here. But overall, this is starting to get choppy, right? If I really zoom out, this is the 15-minute chart. This is starting to get pretty choppy back and forth up here. Yes, when I zoom out here, we've got higher time frame trend to the upside, right? What have we been doing on the U.S. indices? What have we been doing on YM? We've been moving up. I am kind of holding on to that bullish bias overall, holding a short bias really over the past nearly half a year, but certainly the last quarter of 2025 had not helped me at all taking shorts for the most part. But up here now, I'm starting to get a little bit more into rangy, choppy, consolidating mode, right? Where I'm going to be a little bit more cautious getting long above the halfway point of this choppy, consolidating back and forth around all-time highs. I'm going to be more inclined to be taking longs down here, more inclined to be taking shorts off the highs, right? So these zones that I have marked up, honestly, I really don't need to change them. Again, I'm going to mark up discretionary levels and then leave them on my chart. I think that's something I want to do for 2026 with you guys on anything that I'm trading. I don't talk too much about the objective levels, but it's the stuff that I watch. It comes off a volume profile, prior day high and low, prior day volume point of control, value area high, value area low, and then the overnight session high and low, aka Asia, London high and low, aka we just cracked Asia and London high right there. We got our Asia London low right here off of this low point candle right here. This would be 49,208. But below that, looking left, right, coming off of price action market structure, looking right to volume profile. This is the area that I'd be worried about down here if we started to sell off. It's also a big round psychological number, 49,000 evens. To the upside, same area, right? Yesterday's volume point of control. I can't be mad. I can't be mad taking a long off of that one. Coming off of this area of high volume, but a little bit choppy up here. To the upside, this is what I could see for a potential test. So let's see real quick news before we get ready to bring on special guest Christian Williams, a.k.a. Decipher the Algo. I think he's getting ready in the background here. We got through 8:30 a.m. Core PPI, just to give you guys the news for the day. Got through 8:30 a.m. Core PPI, looking at pretty clear rest of the day. We do have unemployment tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. That could be a heater, but not too much news by way of anything that's on the schedule for the rest of the day. But as I've continued to talk about, as we've continued to see, caution around the U.S. administration. Whoa, I messed my screen up. Caution around the U.S. administration. Trump providing a lot of volatility in these markets. So just framing my trade real quick to the upside, I'm interested to see what happens around the 49,500. It's kind of where I got long yesterday. Again, I don't know that I want to trade in the middle of this, right? If I'm going to draw a range out here, coming off of this high and this low here for the time that we've been in it, this is what it would look like. The middle of this, kind of near where we are here, but definitely up here. I'm going to be a little cautious, right? Oftentimes once we start to chop, we continue chopping. Once we start to trend, we continue trending. If we sell off down around this low here, I could look for a really aggressive long. I definitely would not mind that today. If I have to get cooked on the longs, I will. If we pop to the upside, I could consider a short, but I don't know. I don't know that I would want anything short without a stop all the way outside of this, or anything long without a stop all the way outside of this. This is becoming a little bit of a danger zone here on YM. So, on that note, good morning, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and bring in none other than Christian Williams, a.k.a. Decipher the Algo. Welcome to the show, my man. What's happening?
Hello. Hey, how we doing?
Good, brother. Good. Appreciate you hopping on. Oh, you got the blue background like me, man.
Yeah, no, this is just my light right here, honestly. I could
Yeah.
make it all yellow if I want, you know. But hey, how's it been? I
Good, dude.
heard a
Good,
little bit of
good.
the pre-market, you know, the pre-talk right here. What are you looking at specifically? You're looking at YM?
Yeah, looking at YM, man. Trading YM on the 15-minute, kind of more zoomed out. It's done pretty well for me coming into the end of last year. NQ just continuing to be such a monster for me to deal with. And
Yeah.
ES, ES not bad, man, but I started trading kind of YM on the side, testing some different things. I had traded YM a lot in the past as US 30, like from CFDs, and it just was providing way too good of results for me to ignore. So I've been on this one, man. Been on this one for a bit. You're still pretty locked on NQ?
Yeah, I mean, right now I've been trading primarily NQ. YM is nice though. Every time I've traded YM, I've enjoyed it. It's like a thinner market, so it moves pretty quick.
Yep.
It's like NQ, but yeah, it's not. It's a little more forgiving, I think. So yeah.
Yeah. I find for me, like it just the really basic kind of dumb guy way that I trade, this like area of interest to area of interest, level to level, it really respects and trades quickly, like you said, to and from like areas of high volume or just price action consolidation. Like it loves to react off of highs and lows, off of areas of high volume. And that's kind of how I trade it, like pretty aggressive at the zone, targeting the next area. When you're wrong, sometimes you're dead wrong on it because it can move fast against you for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely different. It seems to live in its own world. Like ES and NQ tend to be much more correlated, like day to day, and especially off the open. Yeah, kind of like today, NQ selling off, cracking lows, YM
Yeah.
pushing in the upside. Like it's the black sheep for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, how you been? How you been looking on NQ? How's the past couple months been since I checked in
So,
with
I
you?
mean, things have been good. I went to Hawaii, got back, started January. I was there for like a week. Uh, this month's been pretty solid. I've been mostly short. Like if I look at my stats, I'm like 90% short this month. But just I'm trading one account to start out the year. I'm not really copy trading anything all crazy.
Cool.
Up about 5170 as of right now on this account
Hell yeah, dude.
for the month. And yeah, I'm probably done for the day because honestly, I got smoked on a short right now.
Oh yeah.
I was trying the short on NQ really quick because I'm like, you know what, I'm a little late to it, but it's probably got a little bit more room, and I was just completely wrong on that. And I was able to flip long, and I got 50 points out of it, so I got back to where I was. So I'm up 350 on the day, but
Nice.
man, yeah, it's just like you were saying, it's one of those that if it's in a mood, it's in a mood. And, I was telling even on my Discord, I put a chart up saying, look at what we're doing on the hourly, look at what we're doing on the
Yep.
higher time frames. It's really not all that great.
Yep.
I've had
Yep.
some pretty solid trades this week. Most of them have been during Asia early, like I would say the first hour or two on Sunday and Monday. I was pretty much done.
Nice.
So those types of sessions, when you get a lot of good action early in the week, it's kind of expected that it slows down towards the middle of the week.
For
With the
sure.
CPI and all that. I didn't even trade CPI honestly,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
what we got today. Today's kind of like defense, which is I would say the hardest part of trading is just keeping what you make.
Yeah, I hear that, man. Yeah, this is for me it's been a little bit interesting, man. Like we definitely didn't get Santa Rally. We kind of just drifted lower. And to start off this year, I've taken a couple L's in this account. This was a frustrating one because I was just heavy long bias in here. This right in here, I got long and took like a stop like right here
Oh
before
yeah.
the pop. But yeah, man, I've just had some missed execution. Honestly, I really will take the blame on something like this, just not executing effectively on a nice pop to the upside. Really not getting as heavily long biased as I'd like. Maybe after a move like this, right? It's always hard to say, well, we're going to catch a huge move, but once we
Right.
pull
Yeah.
this, we've gotten some big movements. But now, now comes the challenging part where, like, personally, okay, taking a couple L's to start the year, nothing crazy in this account on the indices. We've got this big higher time frame, right? If we look at the daily on YM at least, big higher time frame, continual push to the upside, but we're starting to pull this crap. We're starting to pull this back and forth garbage. And this is where at least I find, and I think other traders will find, like, you're trading it directionally. Okay, we're starting to break lows. Now we're going to get short. Okay, what do we do? Right back up. We're starting to break highs. What do? We start to get long in here really aggressively like I did yesterday. What do? We come back down through the lows. So just this choppy, rangy, back and forth. Like there's a lot of opportunity in here for sure. Like this is zoomed out on the 15-minute. But I try to be cautious of that higher time frame, like you said, like looking at the 1 hour, the 4 hour, really trying to zoom out and say, like, what are we doing? Are we breaking prior bar high and pushing up where we really want to trade this directionally for like some extensions? Are we going to start this back and forth, sweep highs and lows, kind of just chop around? We've gotten past some news. We got past that initial drive off of, the new year. And now we're going to figure out if we're just going to continue to grind higher, into Q1, or if we're going to maybe turn and correct a little bit. So, I'm getting a little bit more defensive. Like for me, I was mapping it out a little bit. For me on YM, I'm starting to get cautious of this, right? Like that really zoomed out over the last, 2 weeks is starting to get a little rangy. We're in the low end of this. We tested down below this level. We didn't come all the way back down in here, which could be a really big clean out area before drive higher. But, sellers are starting to defend this high up here. Buyers are holding up, at least for now down here. If I'm going to trade this, I think I'm going to trade from the extremes of this and not really be the first person to buy the breakout of the high or sell the breakout of the low. That's kind of the overview coming into the remainder of this week.
And that's like honestly the best spot to be in. Understand that it's a range. For anybody watching, it's also understand your bias. So for me, I know I'm pretty good about not forcing the breakout to the upside. But I find myself oftentimes in these ranges where I'll be short from a good position, but then I'll just keep hammering it towards the lows. So I always have to be mindful that I'm not, diving into the shallow end, because for whatever reason I have a higher tendency to be aggressive to the downside than I do the upside. So it's like that. That's where I have to be cautious. Even today, where it's like, yeah, we're towards the bottom of the range. It could break lower, but I already had one kind of sloppy execution, so I know. That's a good indication for me to kind of keep it chill, because if you end up making money in a range, that's great. Try to keep it, because it's just too easy to get misdirected, because ultimately the range is a range because it's failing to break. So it's going to look like it's going to break, but the reason it stays a range is because it can hold, and it doesn't hold because it looks like it's going to hold. It looks like it's going to break. So yeah, the market has a tendency to kind of do the opposite of what you're thinking in that regard. But what are you seeing right here? I think you might be muted.
Oh, I'm muted. $5 for the mute jar. My bad. I was throwing some links in chat as well.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm watching this thing for a potential like move lower. Like if we weren't on the high end of this, right? Like if we weren't on the low end of this higher time frame range, which I'm trying to do again a little bit better job of taking into consideration, I would be considering a short. Right? We popped to the upside. I'd probably.
Ooh, look at that daily on NQ. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're starting to get some downward movement on NQ, or is it pushing back up?
The daily chart actually looks pretty unreal. It's yeah.
Ooh, yeah, we are breaking the downside. Yeah, no. So zoomed out, I kind of I saw a couple of these charts. I don't know if you can see mine. I saw a couple of these drawn.
Yep.
Like the get ready for the explosion, the daily the daily triangle of death that's coming, the Dorito pattern.
Oh man, I love those.
Yeah, this looks interesting for sure. But yeah, on YM, man, again, I'm cautious being short in general in this market. I, like you, I don't know for better or for worse. For me, it's been a little bit for worse through the last couple months.
Yes,
I've been short biased, like just in general. I'm taking more shorts than longs if I look at my data. But on another day, I think this would still be no trade for me. But another day, if we came up here and we tested, we hit prior day's volume point of control, right? We hit this little discretionary zone, and then we pulled this. We started to reject. I could consider a short for a continuation lower. I think for me, I would be. I'm gonna. Whoa, I don't want to do that. I would be really cautious on YM down around this area. Because, what do I think? Just like we said, when something starts to chop around in range, it kind of stays doing that until it doesn't. So, if I was trading down towards this level, that does present a little bit of a risk to reward opportunity, right? Stop right above the high, targeting just this low. But down here, I would expect a fight. I would expect some buyers to step in here. It's been a key high from December. It's a nice clean low that was put in before we broke the high. We're coming down towards it. I think we either bounce here back up, or we find sellers really aggressively and we catch a big down day, a big downward movement. So honestly, for me, I'm not looking at this thing short. I'd be looking long down here, a sweep of this January 8th low. Pretty aggressively. It would be on a movement to the downside, but this would at least give me a way to structure risk where if I pull something like this, decently wide stop, looking at the 15-minute, I'm dead wrong, right? I'm wrong completely. It is just a huge down day. If we find no buyers off of a key level, potential area of support, area of interest. But in between this and up here and right in here, I don't think I want this, man. I just think there's too much opportunity for this back and forth crap to start to happen. We pull this for the day and you zoom out and you're like, yeah, of course, right? Big range here. We're kind of just bouncing around. So extremes that I'd be looking from today for what I think could be reasonable. Yeah, off of this level or up above prior day's volume point of control. But I really don't like that as much. I think I'd be getting involved in the middle of this range again with a short, so I'd be cautious of that one. So patience, man. Patience today. Patience today.
Most traders end up losing on not direction, but the path it takes to get to wherever it's going. So path is kind of what we're avoiding. If we're not at a specific reference, we don't know if it's going to want to dip a little bit lower before going or dip a little bit higher. I know for NQ, generally speaking, I do think NQ is going to move down in the next, handful of weeks. I don't know how much. And obviously today is probably one of them. Today is what I've noted as a more challenging day for me. Like I knew that going into yesterday. Yesterday's Asia session was a little bit slower, at least on my end. It was just a little bit more back and forth. But yeah, today's session, it will go lower. And I'm looking at right now, even where we're at, we're testing the 50-day moving average, 21-day moving average on NQ for the daily. And it's just, it moved, sure, but the path it took probably would not have worked for me. I already witnessed that a little bit off the open. When I get completely thrown out of a trade like that, I already know that my positioning is not going to be great for today. So that's one form of risk management, is just avoid sessions that you have a tendency to perform poorly on. They're not always the same. For me, a big one that is always the same, though, is an inside day. Anything inside the prior day range, I'm probably not going to do great. So I try to avoid those overall.
There you go. Yeah, that's a huge piece, right? So everybody wants to figure out, how to progress, how to kind of get more consistency. And you just touched on two things there, which are super solid. One is identifying on the charts, what is a day where you traditionally don't do super well? It's typically not a cleanup day. And if you can identify something like that for anybody on here, if it's inside days, outside days, if it's an increase in volatility and you're like, you know what, I'm backing off. I know I typically don't do great. That's a huge edge in itself, right? That's moving the needle in the right direction. And then also, right, you said you took a quick loss and then a quick win, you're back to profit. And then you notice hey, maybe after that happens, I don't traditionally continue to clean up. So I also take my foot off the gas in situations like that. That's a huge play. I try to do the same. I really try to do the same. I try to recognize what conditions on the chart are going to generate, at least for me, what I see is, I'm doing better. And also just the outside life stuff I've tried to be better about. If I'm all over the place in my outside life, if I'm feeling like trash, if I'm super duper busy, or even I'm trying to impose my will to make some money for whatever reason, like we always do. Okay, I taken a couple losses, now I want to get back. I'm all right. I was really hungry in here. This was Friday, I think. Yeah, I actually went back and made a reel out of this. I made a whole video out of it. Hopefully my editor gets it. But I was I had taken an L or two. It's the beginning of the year. It's Friday. I wanted to end green, and I was so close to shorting off the lows. And you could see it on my face. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna take it, man. All right, it's fine. I'm not gonna take it. And then of course, this would have been a certain stop out. So I don't always get that. I definitely don't always get that. But if you can try to think in terms of sure, your edge might be there, might present itself. You might have opportunities every day. But if during certain conditions in the market or with yourself in your personal life that you typically don't execute so well, and you can avoid trading during those times, that's a huge win. Easier said than done, but that could be a huge play, a huge improvement.
And ultimately, you learn the stuff just through pain, right? On the chart, like you do something wrong and you can look back on it. That's the only good part about taking bad losses. You can look back and be like, well, I know how this typically goes. Do I want to try that again today? And
Yep.
then whenever I say that, I'm like, no, I think I'm good. I think I'd rather enjoy my day. That's kind of my line. I'd rather go enjoy my day than do this. So
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, stress, whether that's sleep, I just got this a little aura ring right here, so I'm start tracking my sleep a little bit more intently. Things like that do play a huge factor in at least short-term decision making, right? So
Nice.
with trading, it's the faster you can respond to the information in front of you, and the more clearly you can, the better you're going to perform. I'd say most of your edge is how well you come prepared to the market, and then there's a little bit that matters about what the chart says, because if you're, let's just say, super tired or you're super stressed out, the best setup could be on the chart, and you
Yep.
don't know what to do with it.
Yep.
Versus, if you come prepared, you can pretty much trade whatever.
Yep. Absolutely. It's hard. It's always hard to temper ourselves, right? But man, if you can do that, and you're not gonna, like, I know you're tight with Tanner. Like he was on the stream recently, and he's talked a lot about it just outside of it. Like he said, if he's super duper tired, like if he's cooked right before competing or something or lifting. I know you're heavy on that as well. Like he just traditionally does not do well. Like it's usually a not great day. So he either is gonna get cooked or he keeps himself off, and he's like, I don't want that today, I'm not touching it. And I find the same, man. Like I made a video. I'm usually pretty good at tempering myself, but I made a video. This was like middle of last year. It just happened to be that I had gone to like 2 funerals, like back to back, and it was just a not great space. And for whatever reason, I thought I could handle that, and I hopped right on the charts and immediately cooked funded accounts. And I was like, wow, I haven't done that. And I really haven't done that in a while. And then I step away, and I'm like, I had gotten back from a heavy funeral this morning. Like, why did I put myself in that situation? So,
Yeah.
man, and that's an extreme example. It could just be being tired. It could be, anything going on, stress in your outside life. But got to remember, man, money's on the line. And if you're going to, if you're on it, and the exact opposite is true. Like if I'm energized, ready, feeling super positive, it's like you almost can't miss, right? Like that's the other side of that coin.
Yeah, just the wrong message, the wrong event, anything like that. You step on the chart, you basically get one shot at that point, because your mentality is not on, and it's crazy how much you don't even realize how off you are until you get basically blown out of the water.
Yep, until the dust settles and you're like, damn, dude, what was I doing in the first place on this one? But yeah, it's hard to wrap our heads around. But
Yeah.
I think for anybody listening, for anybody in the communities, if you're coming to the charts and you're not in the pocket, you just don't feel super well, you're much less than 100%. There's a really good chance you're not going to do well. There's just a really good chance that even if the market moves and gives you the opportunity, you're not going to execute well. And if you can pull yourself out of that a little bit, and just back off, there's a much better day for you, which is a missed opportunity at the worst, right? Maybe your setup was there. You go back and you're like, that was a good setup, but you know what? I've taken my foot off the gas. I didn't even expose myself to risk. And then the other side of the coin, which is, losses, right? So, but yeah, man, I'm watching this thing just to talk markets here.
Yeah.
I'm watching this thing find some support. Pam, I saw you say you get short in here. Not a bad play. Like, again, definitely not a bad play. This is a somewhat weak open, looking at where we were for yesterday's volume profile, cracking yesterday's low. Just taking a look at the daily. Like, where could I see us going here? For sure, we could definitely pull this movement to the downside, just kind of extend this candle without even cracking, without forming any kind of day. Could we tap these lows? Sure. I could also just as easily see this crack right back up to the upside. We're coming into 10 a.m. We're well past that 9:45 a.m. Eastern. I'm watching this. I'm watching this kind of either way. I think this now could set up for me going either way. It's a little bit more of a continuation trade. Pretty tight range, so I definitely do not expect us to stay here. I could get a stop on either side of this, going short down around the lows for continuation lower, or a long back up towards this area. I don't mind it. But we swept Asia London highs first, came back down. danced around. Now we broke Asia London lows. We put low of day in with this session. Now we're just chopping at VWAP. So overall, kind of choppy so far. I'm going to wait for a little bit more information on this one, but I could see us starting to go either way. If I had to take a trade, it'd probably be short down around this zone right here, down around this low over here. But I'm cautious, man. I think we got easily an untested volume point of control. We could pop right up here and then move south. We can, come down here and then move right back up. Either way, like I talked about, I'm cautious of this. I don't want to be trading for a big extension, and I want to be cautious trading, like this, right? I would prefer to not be trading like this, and I'd really prefer to be somewhat cautious in this area here. If I'm going to take trades, I'd prefer these type from the outside, from the extremes. That would be my preference today. If I'm going to take something within here, I'm also going to take into consideration this daily candle that might be forming here, how much room we have to the upside and downside.
Yeah, we're right around that daily open for YM. That's at like 371.
Yep. So, again, these days can be kind of tough. I could see this moving. I think we do have some opportunity. This is a tight range. This is still a tight range so far. Let's see. What did we put in so far here? Yeah, not even a 200-point range. I don't think that we stay within 199 points for the day.
Yeah, that's right on the money. It's going to stay exactly there. No way.
I think we got some room, so I'm okay trading for an extension. It's going to be this zone here or this zone here. Waiting for a little bit more data to come and see what we can get. But yeah, kind of a weird week now. Getting past CPI, we got unemployment tomorrow. Maybe we chop around today. Maybe we just don't get too much, right? Like ahead of that 8:30 news tomorrow.
It's a bit confusing for me when yesterday's like last night moved as if today was CPI. And then the day before that, it acted like there was nothing coming. So I don't know. It's a bit strange. I feel like CPI typically is going to be the most important, but it doesn't really seem like it. It seems like the market slowed down afterwards. So
yeah, yep. Usually CPI is like a big one, right? Like that's the big hitter. And yeah, dude, I don't know. Like I've just found this year, like red folder, like last year, red folder news is like by the wayside, and everybody's just waiting for the Trump tweet. Like everybody's waiting for like the tariff comment or like, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, I've held through some news. Like I don't know, like before that, the year before, I would have never in my entire life considered holding through news like that. I've done it a handful of times. So I agree with the sentiment. I don't really care as much. There's rarely like an NFP or CPI anymore that's just like, oh my God, I guess that's it, right? Yesterday, I mean, it kind of moved. It put in a setup that's familiar to me. But so outside of volume profile, are you looking at what do your other charts look like? What are your other technicals? What do you have in the background? You have Bloomberg Terminal. What do you got?
Man,
bat signal.
No real bat signal for me. This is the main chart, right? So visible range volume profile on the right, fixed range volume profile, drawing tool, or session volume profile if I'm on trading view. A couple of zones drawn up, VWAP in the middle, volume down on the bottom. The only other thing I really have hiding on the right hand side is bookmap. I run bookmap on the side, a little bit of order flow. I will check around the horn a little bit, at ES and NQ, but just not as much. I really try to keep it stupidly simple on YM, man. Yes, looks like the break to the downside.
Yep, I've seen it. That's heavy.
There we go.
There you go, YM.
Yeah, I'm gonna I think I'm gonna stay patient on this one today. I don't know if we bust out of this today, so I'd consider long in here. This does look like we want to try to move, but I'm cautious. Like talking about what I take into consideration outside of the technicals, which is really like the heavy portion of what I do. I'm just coming to the chart, higher time frame trend, moderate time frame. What the hell are we doing? Where are we opening up relative to yesterday's volume profile? And kind of that same thought process, like to and from areas of interest, mean reversion style for the most part on YM, like from the extremes. What do I reasonably think we can get out of the day has started to help me a little bit more. And then the only thing really outside of that, like fundamental-wise or sentiment or any type of stuff, I just try to understand where we are within that news cycle. Like are we coming into FOMC, right? The day before FOMC, am I trading for a huge extension, a big push to the upside or downside? Maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe we chop around slightly more often than not. So I want to be a little cautious on that. But yeah, man, outside of that, Bookmap a little bit, really just as like a secondary, hey, do we have like crazy orders above or below? Are we putting in a super duper heavy cumulative volume delta? Kind of like not as confluence or confirmation, but just as like that, hey, is there something screaming at me that I should be paying attention to? Like secondary, like a warning sign is more of how I'm using it on YM. But like you said, YM is so thin. I can't share this because now I got too many screens open. But YM is so damn thin. Like the chart for Bookmap is really different than something like ES or even NQ. So every once in a while, you get a big standout order where I'm like, ooh, we should probably be paying attention on this one.
It's almost like if you see a big order in YM, it's like someone has the wrong thing pulled up when they're executing it.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, bro, what are you doing?
Like 100 orders is crazy on YM.
Meanwhile, someone at Goldman just who hasn't had their coffee yet.
Let's see. Chat, what's going on? I chickened out, got out at 49, 190. All right, took a little bit of a win. I swear I'll never learn to hold a TP. Yeah, Pam, who's commenting this one. What did Adil say? Got to trust your setup. Yeah, like, I'd say try to do. Here's what I do. I can only speak to what I do. I try to review my data, right? So, and I just did this on this account. If I go back and I throw all my executions on the chart, what happens after I exit? Am I typically seeing my trades run in my direction towards my take profit? That's a real good indication that you're closing out early. You want to hold those. Your data shows you would have made more money. If you're exiting, based on discretion or whatever reason you're exiting because it doesn't look great, and then you find those typically turn into choppy back and forth BS trades, maybe that's okay. Maybe you're kind of on the right side of it. But, for me, and I think for most traders, for the most part, they have a system, they have an approach, they get themselves into good trades. And sure, they're going to take full losses sometimes, and there's going to be some of those that move a little bit in profit and then all the way back, but they're never going to realize the full potential of those trades if they never let the thing run. Yeah. And especially if, which most people are doing, every time it moves against you, you're sure as shit holding all the way to that stop loss. Like you're never clipping it early going to the stop loss. So, that's the key piece with trade management. Way easier said than done. I struggled with it for a long period of time. But
the amazing part is it's like once you get past that, there's going to be other issues too. I used to have the biggest issue holding onto a trade for more than a couple minutes. Now, if I have to honestly look at my trading, I tend to hold trades too long. And it's the same result. You would think it's like a better thing. No. I know traders who will I've talked to people who genuinely have watched a trade go from 4,000 to 0. Why? Why do we do that? It's the same problem.
It can absolutely go the other way. I don't think it's as frequent, but for sure, like it's kind of the greedy trader, right? Like the guys that like will or girls that will never close, like never closing the trade.
That's like how I am now. It's worse, so dumb. It is so dumb.
You flipped it. It's hold to the moon or to the ground. Yeah, dude. It's tough because, again, like that's a downside also. There's a limit to say, like, we're way past reasonable expectations. It's hit every level that it should. What are you waiting for to capitalize on this? But, but for sure, Pam, like, great idea. Yeah. Great. Says, great idea. I'm going to do that. Track every trade and see. Like, what you could do, for example, for anybody listening on this one, 2 ways that I would do this. The super simple way would, Pam, you said you got short in here somewhere like this, right? Your target was somewhere down here. Into the 20s or whatever it was, you had some kind of trade like this. Take the screenshot or throw the position tool on. You can even hide it if you're on any trading view chart or whatever it is. You can like do that. This way you can continue trading, then you can come back and put it back on the chart so you don't have to stare at it all day. Or you could just screenshot it, like copy link, download image, whatever it is, and then go back through, and the market's probably going to have done something. Did it do this or did it do this, right? And journal that. Just continue to review. If you forget to do that and you didn't do any of that to begin with and you still want to try to have this, throw executions on the chart. Go back through, either look at your trade log or just turn on executions in the settings, and then you can see physically where you got in, where you got out, or you can go back and throw the position tool on and like review that. The market's going to move. What happens after you enter the trade? Where was your stop? Where was your take profit? Or at least the idea where you were going to get out? and then what happened, right? Based on your execution. And you can always improve. There's also never in my humble opinion, a best, and Christian, maybe you have a thought on this. Like, I don't think there's one best way. We're never going to be perfect. Like, we're never going to capture every tick out of the movement, every single day. But there's probably an average. You probably have an idea of like where you should be getting out of a trade. Like, what's holding too short, what's not what's not holding long enough, what's holding for too long. And you got to accept the middle ground. Like, there's going to be days where you could have held longer. There's going to be days where it got really close to the take profit and then it came back on you. But what's the happy medium for whatever the person is trading? It's different for everybody. And that's out there. That average is out there.
I agree. And it's as long as you're doing the same types of trades. So one thing I tell people all the time, if you're taking the same type of setup every day, kind of keep an idea or keep track of how long it takes. If it takes 20 minutes for your trade to hit target or the general area you're looking for, aim for your trades to be around there. There's other measurements you can use. I like ATR. It's really important to know for, let's just say, the hourly. If the hourly ATR is 100 points, you probably aren't getting 400 points in an hour. You're probably going to get about 100 points. Things like that are super important. And it's not just having a good target, it's having a good trade management. So if you don't manage your trade, you can give back profit very easily. If you manage it too aggressively, I think on Thursday, I had a trade that got trailed out in profit for about 2 hours. And it's like, technically I managed it too tight, but if I don't do that over the long run, I'm going to lose money. It's much more important to just take some partial wins than take that as a full stop when it happens. So yeah, one day alone won't really do much for your trading, but as long as you do the same set of good habits over, let's just say 10 trades, then you're on track for like a pretty solid positive expectancy. Yep. One day doesn't really do much, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Big sample size. One day is not going to, for the most part, not going to make or break you, right? That's not going to be the determining factor. But yeah, have some consistency. You hit the nail on the head, man. Have some consistency in what you're doing. And then, try to figure out what the best is for you. And like, everyone's different. Like, even I'm going off the guys that like I have on the show. Like Tanner was on here recently. He trades somewhat differently than me, like much higher frequency, much smaller stop outs. He's going to take a similar trade over and over and over again. Yep. And then he's really going to hold for a big 2, 3, 4 hour move, maybe even more. So you recognize like what that looks like for you, for whatever style you're trading, because it's always going to be slightly different. Even if we're like very close, it's still going to be slightly different. Track the data, try to do a little bit more of what's working, a little bit less of what's not working. I mean, as simple as that sounds, that's essentially the whole scope, right, of improvement in anything that you'd be doing, trading or any other activity. Try to track the data a little bit and do a little bit more of what's working, a little bit less of what's not working. And it usually stands out, and it's usually the hard stuff that we don't want to do, that we want to do the exact opposite, like hold our winning trades longer and, clip our losses without moving stop loss or adding in or doubling down. I'm looking at this one. It's a good conversation. I'm looking at this one, man. This is still choppy, and I think this would be a little aggressive. I'm carrying a little bit of a long bias in this market. I don't think that's a terrible trade. I don't think that's a terrible one here on YM. It would put a stop all the way down at this zone, which I think is easily could be tagged today without coming outside of this. But we swept down below here. It looked like we were going to get some volatility to the downside. We immediately came back up. Could just be the break, retest, and then a continuation lower. But I like this naked volume point of control up here. I like the bullish move potentially off of this zone that we've put up a little bit of a fight at here. I'm tempted on this one long. Just taking a look at Bookmap. Yeah, growing on cumulative volume delta here. That's kind of what my trade would look like with about $1,000 worth of risk. If I'm wrong, I'm dead wrong. 10 a.m.
Order filled.
I'm taking this one. I'm getting long on this one, guys. I'm going to run this bad boy long. I'm going to go right around my standard stop loss size, $200 worth of risk. Again, somewhat down off of the open, sweep of the highs, but now breaking down and coming back up to this zone, putting up a fight. I'm going to run this back towards this area here. Again, pretty decent stat for me to say we don't leave a volume point of control untested in the next session. stats like that from data providers, but you can just look on the chart and see how often the last day's volume point of control is tested. And even in this area right here, I think if we are going to move lower, especially if we're going to pull a really, really aggressive move down, I could see a test of this area. Somewhat counter to the choppy movement that we've had so far off the open, but that's gonna be my trade for the day. I'm gonna run this bad boy long.
I'm looking here at a few different indications that I use on my chart. I've been liking VWAP bands. Those are pretty nice, and it's sitting on the lower band for like 2 standard deviations. Loosely lines up with today's New York value area low. So I like your area that you're looking at for YM. It's a pretty solid point. You also have a daily low from about 2 days ago, just about there. So a lot of confluence. I always tell people indicators are like, they're just tools. So I have probably, on this chart alone, I probably have 11 different things that I can look at, and I pull them up as needed. And there's that move. Look at that. So we're testing VWAP right there. Yeah. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, guys, this so I'm in this one now. Yeah. This feels like news. This feels like something else. That is a lot of volume coming in.
Oh, yeah, I see the volume now. That's insane.
That's quite a bit of volume coming in. ES got a little bit of it as well. So here comes the dicey part.
Ooh,
that's probably a Trump comment or something. Yep. Let's go. A-Deal, my resident, or not A-Deal. Who's the resident news? I got a resident news person who's always trading fundamentals or talking about fundamentals. That looks a little bit dicey. Could just be natural volume, but that feels like something more.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I'm gonna hang on to this one for a move right back up to this volume point of control.
It looks good in my book. I don't think it's gonna get stuffed just yet. I think you got room.
The risk is that, like, whatever that interpretation or whoever's commenting right now says the opposite of what they just said or walks it back, and we dip down. But I'm gonna hang on to this one. But that feels
You're above VWAP now, so that's a good sign right there.
Oh, there it is. Andrew Baggs, Supreme Court news. All right, what's the news? What's the fundamentals? But yeah, we're back above VWAP on this one. It popped with some positive buying volume. CVD jumped to the upside across both of these. Not that that's my end all be all, but something I watch on order flow. I think we got a good chance of again, even if we're gonna chop today, right? Like, even if we're gonna do this, at very least, I tried to stick to what I was talking about with, if we just kind of pull one of these, or where's that open?
Yep.
We kind of pull one of these. I'm on the low end of that. Sure, I could take the stop right there, right, being not low enough, but getting a little bit of bounce out of this one. I'm gonna.
It looks really good to me. Looks really good.
I'm gonna hang on for a target for anybody looking. I'm looking towards prior day's volume point of control. Not a huge R multiple on this one for sure, relative to risk, but I'd like to see us come back up and test that. So we'll see what we could do. See if we can't catch a little W. Snap a little bit of a losing streak, man. A little bit of a couple back-to-back L's. Nothing too crazy, but part of the game. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, man, I saw you're cycling around a couple of different firms. You got some different accounts. Still trading on Top Step. Still trading on Top One. What are you working on prop firm wise?
Yeah, I tried a few of them. The plan is, to have them all linked up and full speed ahead for the end of the year. I just tend to jump too quickly into copy trading all of them. So I know for me personally, I like to start the year a bit slower. So I'm just trading one XFA and some top one accounts. I'll add in probably my funded futures, and I like having a variety of accounts. You can use them for different strategies. You can use them for different times of day, but it never really hurts to just rotate profits back in there. As always, I trade a personal account as well, but this year I just started with mainly focusing on this XFA that I have. So
cool, man.
Yeah. What about you? You're pre-live, and then you got personal.
Yeah, man. I talked a little bit about it in one of my posts. I was trying to figure it out, right? Like, we kind of continue to get better as traders, right? You grow, capital grows, and you kind of have to weigh. I'm watching this thing, testing the top of this little range here. I'm gonna hold on to this one, guys. For anybody, before I answer that question, I'm gonna hold on to this one. If we come right back through the low, unfortunately, I'm dead wrong. It's the down day. I'm not going to stop loss to break even. I'm going to allow this thing to test this zone again. I think it's really likely that we do, in pursuit of this push to the upside, that whatever this is follows through to the upside. We get a little bit of a reversion. Again, not even aiming for a home run. That's probably where I'd be taking profit right in here, towards that volume point of control, this area of high volume right here. But, so for me, my goal coming into the end, I'll throw something on here for now. My goal coming into the end of last year was like try to get myself into a live account, try to get myself into a prop firm live account. I was trading different prop firms, kind of bouncing around with different stuff, and I was able to do that. That's been cool. Took a bunch of payouts from this one. Now the question is like, okay, well, where do you go from here? You can start to copy trade like a lot of them, which is a big opportunity for sure. And for me, I think it's going to be a combination of personal live accounts, but even more like swing trading in the personal live accounts, and then attempting to focus on one or two firms, I think on the high end, trading aggressively in sim to try to get to a live account with a larger size balance, and then scale from there and really, really try to push it that way. I don't think there's anything wrong with the copy trading a ton of accounts altogether type of thing. It's just definitely a different game, man. It's an aggressive one. It's definitely an aggressive one. There's a lot of time commitment if you're not copy trading them all together in batches, which I think can be really beneficial. And like, if I was going to attack a lot of firms, I think that's what I would do. It's what I've done in the past. Like, copy trade batches of them, right? Like maybe there's like, 1 to 5 at each firm, and then you're trading some different styles, you're trading some different approaches. But I think for me, I'd like to be able to catch some W's on this bad boy and hold on to this one. We'll see what we can do. But if this one goes south, I'm going to run the same play, instant funded back towards the top one pre-live account, and then try to scale from there. But I think that's my game plan. Try to figure out how I can scale on the U.S. indices, intraday, right, in the mornings. And then on the back end of that, live accounts, put more money behind like higher time frame swing trading. It's this never-ending weighing of like, where the good opportunity is, and then also like where life's taking you, right? So I talked also like, I got some not older parents, but parents that are getting older. I'm trying to do more with them. I do a ton of content. I put a ton of this stuff out. I'm trying to do even more of that. And it's like, well, how much time do I have to trade, all day between 8 firms, 5 packs on each, like, which guys do with a lot of success, but they're trading like Asia. They're waking up to trade like London. They're trading, all day for NYSE. And it can be lucrative, right? It can be really lucrative, but it's aggressive, man. So that's kind of where my head's at with this one. Live accounts, prop firm live accounts, more aggressive in sim on the way to prop firm live accounts, and then trying to scale from there, making my mistakes along the way and seeing where we can go with that.
Yeah, realistically, I need to get into a live account, especially with top one. I know last year I probably traded more than I've ever traded, but I also had more stuff going on, like moving into this new house. I mean, I still have shit going on here. I don't even have a kitchen. I have no kitchen. It's empty, completely down to the bones. But it's gonna be pretty nice when it's done. So dealing with that is a big stress. So I don't want to be super wrapped up in markets in general. And that's something I learned last year is like, I'm not very good at perceiving when I'm extremely stressed out. Yeah. For whatever reason, I'm like, wait, am I like, I didn't know what anxiety was, but I'm like, oh shoot. Like, I'm like, so that influences your trading. I'm very big on what you're saying is understand there's stuff outside of trading that matters. Life is always going to happen. And it's like, the more you feed into life, the more it feeds into your trading, in my opinion. That's at least how I'm seeing it.
100%. It's a tough balance too. Like, we all want to be trading all the time and fully focused, but it's that balance of like being honest with yourself. Like, how much focus do you have when? And we're also like, I'd agree. Like, I'm also not great at perceiving like when I've taken on way too much, right? Like, how, you always feel like we could handle way more than we probably can handle, So that's it's a balance, man. And I think this is a bigger conversation. A lot of traders, like, you're on here, you're like, I just want to work towards my first payout. What do I need to do? Grind it out, put the time in, spend every waking minute, building the craft. But then again, as you like start to gain some consistency as you go, have your eyes on that bigger picture. Like, where are you looking to go with this? How much time, do you have to be able to be on the charts in the first place? Almost everybody's working outside jobs. They have some other requirements. And then how much time do you want to be on the charts doing stuff? So it's that never ending balance of like opportunity, capital, risk tolerance in general, and then like best use of time. So we'll see there. But yeah, I'm watching this thing. Test VWAP again. Again, no stop loss to break even for me. If I'm going to be dead wrong on this, not a bad play coming out of this zone after breaking lows, popping back up to the upside. I think we got a good opportunity to potentially test this, even if we're going to come back in and settle around VWAP and close bearish for the day. This is what I'm going to be looking for. Pop to the upside. Chat, let's see. Rhombus, what's up? Hey, good morning, Nate. Unfortunately, not green today. We'll see how it ends. Nate, what's up? What's going on? Spiking, what's up for everybody in chat? How we doing? Supreme Court punted again today. Okay. Existing home sales up. Supreme Court doesn't rule on Trump's tariffs on Wednesday. Okay. So that's the fundamental jump back and forth there. Let's see what the other boys are doing here. NQ. Yeah, NQ made a run back up. Sold off pretty aggressively. Coming back up towards VWAP on this one. Really big bullish 15-minute candle.
Yeah.
We got a second one that's about halfway through, trying to make a run for VWAP. I think we're coming up to decision-making point here, right? Like for the day. I try to think in terms of that. So, we sold off. We pull back up. Now, are we going to come right back down through the low and make this a big down day? Or conversely, are we going to kind of come back up and, pull the classic fake everybody out into the morning and then, pull right back through VWAP? But you run VWAP on your chart as well?
Yeah. I have right now on one of my charts, I'm looking at VWAP, but I also use the standard deviation bands of VWAP. So like on TradingView itself, you can do the upper and lower bands. I like those a lot for mean reversion. I found they're pretty spot on with helping you identify that with a level as a reversal area. And that's kind of what we're seeing on YM as well. But yeah, I like VWAP. I like all of these things. I just use them. As needed. It's like different tools in my tool belt.
I gotta look at this. I'm trying to pull it up on TradingView myself. But yeah, I do the same. Nothing in isolation. Like nothing that's like if the EMA crosses over, I'm long.
Yeah.
Like, it's just more like frames of reference, right?
Yes,
like I think that's the way that you could look at it. I've heard I think it's Drysdale who's gonna come on the show.
Nice.
Talks a lot about the 2 standard deviations of VWAP and how prices.
Yeah, I guess that's what he uses too. Someone asked me, they're like, "Hey, are you using what Drysdale does?" I'm like, "Actually, I have his book. I'm not exactly sure what he trades on his charts." And it's the standard deviation bands, which is cool because I came across that randomly on Twitter from someone else, and I'm like, "These are actually pretty solid." So yeah, no, he's a good dude. I met him in LA.
Nice, dude. I'm hyped. Yeah. He's I don't want to give it away because I try to like build anticipation, but he's gonna be on the show. He's gonna be out in Tampa. That'll be pretty cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, man. No, I see a lot of guys use different tools. I think everybody's got a little something they like more than others. Like obviously for me, it's volume profiles. You can see that's the most overlay. It's volume in general because it's VWAP, volume down on the bottom, and then volume profiles.
Yep.
But volume profile. But yeah, there's stuff out there. So. For anybody listening, that's becoming something I see more and more of, like VWAP itself, anchored VWAPs, and then the standard deviation bands seem like it's something that a lot of people are watching. And I think interesting if you're like a from the extreme type of trader, if you are looking for those more mean reversion style plays, could be something interesting to watch. But I got to play with that. I got to set it up on TradingView. Back down towards VWAP. We're getting ready to set initial balance. This is not in yet, chat, for anybody watching. First 1 hour opening range. Those are going to be some pretty strong levels. We're going to see if we're going to break out to the upside or downside of that. I do like having my stop loss. Let's see. Oh, yeah, about 100 points. A little over 100. No, just under 100 points outside of IB low. If we break that, maybe we fail auction. Maybe we kind of sweep that low from 10 a.m., come back in. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm straight up dead wrong. But I think we got a chance here. We'll have to see.
So one thing that's pretty funny, I have traders. They ask, wait, so what exactly do you trade? What strategy do you trade? And when you say it's like within context or nothing in isolation, You know, I think it surprises some traders where I can tell them, oh yeah, I'm buying this because it's testing, let's just say a 21 or 50 day moving average.
Mhm.
And they're like, why is that something that matters? It's like, it's something that repeats. So why wouldn't I view that as a beneficial thing for my trade if it typically will bounce there? But it's a weird thing where traders want to get tribal with what they do rather than just practical, looking at what happens over and over and just using that in conjunction with your overall strategy.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's a balance, and I think it can be really hard. Everybody wants to just be able to do, when this happens, I do
Yep.
this mechanical. You know, like I always make the joke, like the EMA crossover, right? Because that's always like the classic thing that everybody finds really early on, and it's just not enough. And I think using some tools to build consistency, right? You don't want to be doing something completely different every single day,
Yep.
but using some tools to build consistency around your trading, around the way you're going to approach the markets in general, and then applying your discretion, your intuition, your interpretation of all of that to the context of the day, right? Like, you know, you're not going to be able to do the exact same thing every single day and generate a good consistent result. There has to be some consistency there, but it comes within, it comes within that balance, right? That context of what's going on in the market. Like, I started to think about that even just from higher time frames. Like if we wanted to keep it super technical, maybe you are trading something, really, really mechanical. How does that function when we're putting in 1,000-point daily candles on YM in a huge uptrend versus when we're putting in 400-point candles and we're chopping back and forth, hardly breaking out of a range for 2 weeks? Probably drastically different, right?
Yeah.
So that's an extreme example, but yeah, I think a lot of traders, and I used to do this too. I was actually talking about it yesterday. Watch other guys trade, and they're like, these guys are all over the place, or like they're doing something different, or they're not trading their strategy. Like on Monday, he did something different. And like, yeah, there is discretion in there with almost everybody's approach. Like for the most part, it's the same tools, the same style of markup. It's similar, very, very, very similar. But there's going to be a little bit of juice in there from the individual person, the individual trader. So I think it can be hard to recognize that, hard to realize that that's necessary to do. But write it into your approach, write it into your plan. Where are you going to allow for some of that? We had a question from Pam, I think, had asked, hey, Christian, what's your strategy during Asia session?
Oh, good question. With Asia, I like breaking it up into a couple parts. So you have the open. If we're opening inside of a previous range, it's kind of hard to do much. But when I'm looking at Asia, I like kind of getting that opening drive momentum. Like if you look at Sunday's open and Monday's open for the daily candles, you'll see that it was just a downtrend to the downside, obviously. I like trading a continuation of those types of moves. There needs to be a reason for it to move. Other ones I like is if it gaps up and then rallies a little bit, we can fade the gap, basically short, and then you look for the gap fill. So gap fills are pretty common, and then continuations I like. But there really has to be ample reason for it to move. It's not going to move because it wants to. It's going to move because there's something happening on the books, whether it's the Trump news that we heard on Sunday or whatever, stuff like that. So I love that. It's also just really good for trading a range. So expecting, like whenever I see a strong rally, I try to almost short like the tip of that, the most extreme candle when it's overall bearish. So those are some strategies that I like that work pretty well with Asia.
Nice. Yeah, definitely rangy, choppier.
Yep.
Right. I think a breakout trend strategy is probably not going to do
Very
too
hard.
well overall in Asia in general. But yeah, something that's going to be kind of rangier trading, fading pushes to the upside, sell-offs to the downside. Let's see, chat. What do we got going on? You guys are chatting it up, asking some questions. Want to switch to sim? Nice. You guys are just talking to each other. That's great. When I get up big profit, I always stop and keep working on the sim account. Yeah, that's cool.
Perfect.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely makes sense. I'm watching this thing break back down to the downside, man. Brutal. Listen, man, it might be that start for me. The market really might be testing me. Yeah. I still like this thing for holding this range. If we're going to break to the downside and come through this low, again, I think I'm just dead wrong. We're not catching, obviously, the move to the upside. I like that I didn't chase on like a crazy pushback
Yeah,
up here and have an entryway out here and a stop in here, but we are all the way back down after failing to break the high. I hold on to my stuff for the most part. I
yeah.
just find stop to break even doesn't help me in the long run. Unfortunately, yesterday and potentially today, if this runs back through my stop, would have been filed under, of course, the stop loss to break even, doing the thing that you're not supposed to do,
Yeah.
the taking the quick win would have been beneficial, but it's a long game, man. It's a long game, and I try to stick to my guns. I try to do what makes sense, and I know that if I'm clipping my trades with $1,000 worth of risk for $400 every day, I'm going to generate that really negative risk to reward. And if I know for the long run over a large sample size, the market does move in my favor, it's the wrong play. But this one today, looking tough, man. This is going to be, breaking IB low to the downside. Volume looks okay. CBD still looks okay. Taking a look at the other U.S. indices on this one as we're coming back down. Similar move out of ES, back down around the lows. NQ, similar move, but not really breaking out to the downside with NQ. Test and VWAP. Again, decision-making point, right? We come through these lows super aggressively. I think we are going to put the larger down day in. I think we could see a really aggressive move lower. If we hold, we find some buyers off of these lows, we kind of just chop around, put that choppier day in, maybe flip for a little bit more of a bullish move to kind of close out ahead of tomorrow. Red folder, but so far looking like we want to test the low end of this. Could be the tough one for me, man. But we'll see.
I mean, if we look at what it did just before it started going up, it looked pretty similar on the 1 minute. So
yeah, no, for sure.
I'm not saying that the ship sailed. It can easily hold. It's one of those markets where it's like it looks like it's gonna die, and it could absolutely hold. However, yeah, it is pretty tough when it's like up and then pulls back on you. I think those are my least favorite. When I'm like, could have had something there,
Yeah,
and it's just like you can't though. You can't.
No,
just pull it off.
no, I can't clip them. It's again, like, so I review my data, right? And looking at this account, I've generated, of course it comes when you start to make some of the positive changes.
Yep.
I've generated a really positive win rate, like in the mid to high 70s. It depends if I'm breaking out, for break even trades. But for the most part, it's overall my losses are larger than my wins. I've been clipping trades too early. And when I go back to look at those, I have to say, like, okay, well, good expectancy, right? Everything's coming out green. You're making money in the long run. But are you leaving a whole bunch on the table by doing this? And the answer is yeah. For the most part, on those trades that I clipped, far more often than not, the thing runs, almost double, right? Almost double of where I decided to clip out. So, it screams at me to not do that. Along with that, stop loss to break even. I took a bunch of break even trades on this starting out. The vast majority, I think I had 16. I think that's the actual number. I was talking about it yesterday. The vast majority of those would have been mid to large size winners. Not to say there weren't a handful on there that were full stop outs where I saved myself the full stop out. But it just screams at me to not go stop loss to break even, that even though I do it sometimes with discretion, that discretion's not helping me. It's not paying me. So I'm trying coming into this year to be more aware of that, do the hard thing, right? Take the frustrating loss, not take the half profit on trades when it feels really good. But the other side of that is you got to recognize, like, I'm going to have days like potentially like today where this thing, jumped 114 points in my favor.
Yep.
I'm looking for, 250 out of it. Would have given me less than half of that. And, then we come through the stop. But that's part of it, man. You're never going to catch the larger winners if you're closing at, at break even or for the small win. So
very true. Unless you're trying it again, like you have two equations. It's either through repetition or through patience. That's the only way you can do it. And so I will say this: there's traders who, because this used to be me, it gets stopped out, and you go, see, that's why I need to do. And then they say the bad behavior, move stop to break even, or whatever it is for your system. The only thing you have to do is not let one event turn into a series of bad decisions, whether it's a stop out, whether it's your trade going back to break even. That's not a reason to go and do the wrong thing over and over. You take that piece of information and then you integrate that into your review. I mean, I review all my trades as well. I have like my own template that I use, but I've done that for years. So that's
Nice.
ultimately how we know what to do. And your best trading comes around journaling. It comes
Yeah.
around review. Anytime you start messing up, it's probably because you're not doing those things.
Yep. Yeah. Pam, you asked a good question. When you're on a roll with a strategy, data starts to turn on you. Is there some length of time you stay with it before deciding that particular edge is run a course? So I think in general, once you start to develop some consistency, some approach to the market, there's not a sense that an edge is going to run its course and now we're on to something completely different. What we're talking about here, at least what I'm talking about, I think, or this conversation is more of like continual improvement, right? Continually reviewing your data when you gain some consistency and trying to show weak points. Like, where is it screaming at you to stop doing one thing over another? Where is it screaming at you to start doing one thing over another? As far as like, you're starting to get results that are just not favorable. You're starting to take too many losses. You're starting to lose accounts, whatever it is. When do you start to turn? It's a balance, right? Because the market is dynamic. It's always going to be changing ever so slightly. Volatility for sure going to continue to change. And if you're way too slow to change, of course, you're going to stick with something that's not working for longer than you need to. So, but for the most part, what I found in my personal trading journey and what most traders do is they don't even trade long enough one way to find out if they have an edge or not, right?
Yep.
Let alone, trading long enough to have something start to work and then not come through a losing streak, right? For the most part, and this is tough, the losses that we take are going to be natural losses, right? Whether or not we have an edge, whether or not we're actually going to be able to provide an expected, positive expected value, we're probably taking just a natural amount of losses. And as soon as we start to take 1, 2, 3, 4, everything out the window, change it all up, this doesn't work anymore, when that's probably just a normal amount of losses. Like, the market's not agreeing with you, maybe you're executing a little bit poorly, but maybe you're spot on, that's a normal losing streak. So it's a balance, and what exactly that number is different for everybody. I would tell you, for the most part, when you're reviewing either doing really well or doing really poorly, I'd ask how much of that is coming from really good execution or bad execution, right? Like, when I'm reviewing some of these losses, I have to factor in that there is good opportunities there and I missed good opportunities to put profit on the board, right? So I'm some of my, poor execution is going to be filtered in. And then, like, number 2 is, how much has the market changed? Like, how much have you watched us start to trend when we've been consolidating, or consolidate when we trend? How much has volatility changed, right? But for the most part, my input would be slower to change than you think you need to be. Most traders are way too fast to change. We strategy hop, we throw everything out the window, we're always chasing the new shiny object. There's always a better way to do this, and the natural amount of wins and losses, the streaks that we're going to go on, are gnarly, and our minds can almost never comprehend it. Like, if I take another L on this one, I know that right about now is the day where I'm like, damn, man, what did I forget how to trade? Did I just get lucky for like multiple years? What happened here? The answer to that is no, right? Maybe I've taken 3 or 4 back-to-back losses, and even with a positive win rate, extremely normal. If I factor in that I've also missed opportunity and there shouldn't be that much of a streak, extremely normal. So, it's a balance in there. It's definitely a balance in there. But what I'd say for everybody in general that we all need to be doing, and what Christian said, the best trading comes from review. The best trading comes from journaling. The best trading comes from tracking what you're doing. And again, I say it all the time, but it's so stupidly simple. And other guys say this: what's working? Try to do a little bit more of that.
Yep.
It's a very small amount. What's not working? Try to do a little bit less of that. Very small amount. Be slow to change. Always track, and also recognize we're never gonna find the perfect number, right? Like, I could look at all my trades for the last 4 months, right? Which I did on this account, and based on that, there's a perfect risk to reward number where, on average, if I had held, for example, to like 1.74 risk to reward, no stop loss to break even, that would have generated the most amount of P&L, like the perfect number, right? But moving forward, over the next, 3 or 4 months, maybe we start to consolidate and chop. Maybe we don't extend as much as we have in the bullish run that we've had over the last 3 weeks. And that 1.74 is not the ideal number, right? That's okay. We're never going to be exactly perfect on it, but there's probably an average in there. So recognize that when you say, I'm not going to go stop loss to break even because I've had 16 break even trades and, 3/4 of those have gone all the way back into profit. There's still 25% of that, that small number that are going to stop your ass out, right? So you're going to have to accept those. And through the new market that you're trading, because it's past information that we're working off of, you don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but you have a really strong indication of doing something that's not helping you. Try to not do that thing. But, that's kind of the, I know that was a rant here, guys. Sorry, Christian. But I think it takes sometimes that like bigger explanation of like, there's not one exact perfect way, and you're going to have to accept these things on the way in. But like, there's some clarity in something screaming at you to do one thing over another. Try to do that. When it comes to change, when it comes to seemingly an edge decaying or something just not working, for the most part, what I find is we are not understanding of how many normal losses we're going to have, and we're way too quick to change. If you come through that, maybe you get to a point like I find where I stay too rigid. Look in large sample sizes, and when market's screaming at you to what you're doing is not really working too well, start to make that change. But 3-4 losses, don't start changing stuff up for the most part. Like unless you're a 90% win rate trader, and that's crazy for you.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. The math says if you have, let's just say, a 50% win rate, a losing streak of like 5 or 6 is guaranteed at some point. It's like it's guaranteed. It's gonna happen.
Literally
in a year span, you're gonna do it because that's assuming you trade at your best, right? You're 50%. You're gonna take 2 losses and your confidence is gone, and you're gonna take a bad trade and then 2 more bad trades. So there's your 5. So it's the erosion of confidence affects your ability to execute clearly. But whatever rules you pick. I always tell people, choose a strategy with rules that are acceptable to you. Like for me, if someone said, "Oh, you move the stop to break even, you might miss out on profit," your terms are acceptable. Like I'm fine with that. If I move my stop to break even, it's because I don't want to deal with it. But that's not how everyone is. People are very different. So you got to use what works for you because everything can work. Almost every single strategy can work.
Let me see if I can get the chart. 110%. Dude, that one, I like, people are probably tired of it. But I hammer it because it was somebody when I first saw it, I was like, damn, dude, I do not think like this at all. Like I first off, I'm not accepting that like I should be taking this many losses. But when you really see that in front of you, just the numbers, and like you said, not counting when you're doing something wrong, like not counting when you're not, executing well. I'm going to see if I can pull this up real quick. Yeah, here we go. So probability, this one's from Edgeful. This is kind of a general chart. Let me see if I can pull this up. There it is.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yep. So this is kind of general. Some of these I think end up a little bit differently, a little bit skewed. But here's what we're talking about, guys. Probability of seeing X number of consecutive losing trades within 100 trade sequence, which for me is like a long period of time, right? I'm not trading that frequently. If you have a 50% win rate, which risk to reward aside, if you have a 50% win rate, maybe you have a 2 or 3 R, you have according to the chart, an extremely high, a near certain hitting a four trade losing streak. You're going to hit 4 trades. You got a really good chance, like really normal, of hitting 5 or 6. And again, that's maintaining a perfect 50% win rate, like executing your strategy perfectly. Even at a high win rate, maybe you're like, okay, that's cool. I've got like a 65% win rate. You're still super likely to see 3 to 4 consecutive losses, not making a mistake, not missing a good winning trade in between. None of that stuff. You add that stuff in, it's way more. Maybe you're the Tanner or others that are higher risk to reward, lower win rate. You're ending up in the 30s. Brother, my brothers in Christ, you're going to be getting, you're going to be getting that gnarly losing streak, 5 or 6 with near 100% certainty. Like you're going to see that. So, when you reflect on the nature of probabilities a little bit, the game of probabilities that we're trying to play here, it can help not only with mindset psychology, really expecting it, but also structure risk. Like a lot of guys and girls that are out here trading, like we're trading prop accounts. If you don't want to blow, your prop account, like you really don't want to risk ruin at all, think about how small you have to size to survive a really normal, natural losing streak, right? You get some negative variance in there, boom, you're taking 3, 4, 5 losses, no problem, doing everything right. Just that's part of your win rate. So I think that could be helpful. But yeah, great chart. I love to reflect on this one, man. I love to think about it.
Yeah, it's good. Most of trading is really just reminding ourselves of stuff we already know. We learn these things, and we have to constantly remind ourselves, because that's how you stay focused on the goal. It's know that, yeah, variance exists. You're going to have losing streaks, because when you're doing good, guys, you don't think that's possible. You don't think you're going to lose. For whatever reason, our brain turns off and we say we're going to win forever. But yeah, it's super important stuff.
Yep. I try to keep myself level-headed, and same with the wins, right? Like for going the other way with it. We were talking about people holding trays too long. Same with the wins. Like, you're going to catch 5, 6 wins in a row.
Yeah.
At that point, we're not God. We don't have it all figured out. Risk management can't go out the window, because the opposite is true. Overconfidence creeps in. We go, dude, why am I trading with $1,000 worth of risk? I should put $5,000 worth. What a waste of time, right?
Yeah.
And and again, it's that natural positive variance where maybe we're executing well. Maybe we just got that hot streak going, right? A little bit of that randomness in the market. If you come out the other side of that way too confident, which so many traders do also, that's the risk of blowing up, and why so many traders have that boom and bust cycle where they just cannot handle 3, 4 wins in a row. All of a sudden, risk management out the window. As soon as the one loss comes, oh, that's random. Now I'm going to double down, and it's just sideways. So down the middle, guys, I think understanding, that game of probabilities that we're playing, and expecting the wins, expecting the losses, like you really got to be ready to take them. And the farther I go as a trader, the better I get with that. The less shaken that I am with when I take losses, the less crazy hyped up I am and thinking I'm the best in the world when I take a couple wins. And I just trade through, right? I always try to review and be honest, like where am I executing really well? Where am I executing poorly? Where can I improve? But recognize that we're going to have that natural, gnarly positive and negative variance that comes with trading. And if you step too out of line when you're hot or when you're cold, or your system's hot or cold, it just does not go well. It's really hard to deal with early on. I'll finish with this. Really hard to deal with early on. Like when you don't have confidence to begin with, it's really hard to deal with that. But recognize that's the game that we're playing in here. That's the deal. But yo, Christian, I know we're pushing it kind of long, coming into to 10:48, man. This has been super awesome. I'm gonna throw your banner up on the screen. Tell the peeps where to find you, man.
Yeah, Decipher the Algo everywhere. YouTube, Instagram mostly. I'm on Instagram a lot. But yeah, always a good time on here with you. I look forward to the next time we get a time to chat. I believe we have what is it? March? Is that trip's coming up? We got something going, something planned,
man.
maybe?
We're gonna be having some fun. Gonna be having some fun in person in March. Chat. I'm throwing the links in here to Christian's, if it lets me. There we go. Christian's IG. Let me get it on YouTube because it's not pushing through. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on. We'll run a duck race after this one. Chat, don't go anywhere. Christian, thanks, man, for hopping on.
Alrighty.
I appreciate you.
Later,
We'll
guys.
run it back soon, man. Definitely
Yes,
run it
sir.
back soon.
Alrighty. Take care. Later.
Thanks, man. Chat. Awesome session so far, man. I don't want to tie up Christian for the duck race. You know what time it is. Go ahead, get ready to fill out the form that's going to drop in Discord, as it looks like we're coming back down through this low to potentially give me another L and continue my losing streak, man. Disgusted, but part of the game, man, like we just talked about. Normal losses, again, with some execution in there, which is easily identifiable for me. I'd be a little bit more upset if I couldn't identify some areas where I could definitely make some improvements. But if you're not in the 100% free trading Discord, I'm going to throw this link in chat for you guys in YouTube, in Kick, in everywhere that you are, except for X. If you're on X, it's the link in my bio. Feel free to check that. Gonna throw it on Kick as well for you guys. Boom. Yeah, dude, this is gonna be a gnarly one to start the year off. All right, let's run it. Gonna drop a giveaway form in Discord in about 2 minutes, really as soon as I get the form ready. Hanging on to this one, guys, like I talked about, clipping my trades early, really not helping me in the long run. Certainly, over the last 2 trades, between today and yesterday, clipping out really quickly for a quick win would have helped me. For the long run, running a really negative risk to reward does not seem to be helping me. Hurting me more than it's helping me. So trying to stick to that data, trying to hold my trades longer, try not to go stop loss to break even and stop myself out of good trades as they retest VWAP and retest the zone that I entered in. But looks like it might be a painful one for me. Let's see. Chatty McChat. All right, guys, we got the giveaway form live in Discord. There we go. Live in Discord right now. Go ahead and get this one filled out. I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to get this one filled out. I won't keep everybody on here for forever. Let me get the little graphic up. Quick instructions. 50K Ignite instant funded account from Top 1 Futures getting given out today. Go ahead and fill the form out. Please only fill it out one time. Link to join the free Discord is pinned in the chat. It's in all the chats. Go ahead and hop in there. We're going to give you guys 5 minutes to get this filled out. Let's say 10:56 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to pick the winner in about right then and there. Only other thing is you got to be on the stream to catch the win. If you fill the form out somehow and you're not on the stream, I'm assuming you're a scammer spammer. So make sure you hop on the stream if you fill the form out somehow, if you're getting the form and you're not on the stream. And while I didn't even do that. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. While we do that, I will be right back. No light count for this one, guys. We're getting it filled out. We're getting it done. No light count for this one. Go ahead and get it filled out. We dropped it right off the bat. I really didn't talk about it at all because we got a fun guest on, man. Awesome to have Christian on this one. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the guests, but I'll be right back while I give you a minute to get this one filled out. Chatty McChat. Back in action, guys. Back in action here. Couple minutes to get this form filled out. While I have to painfully trade through. Yeah, while you guys are talking about this, I'm gonna talk about it, man. I like to talk about the wins, and I like to talk about the losses. I'm gonna the form's still live, guys. The form is in Discord. Form's in Discord. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to get this filled out. So if you guys want to watch, first off, come on, chair, work your magic. Yeah, work your magic, chair. Let's see. Oh, chair. Wait a minute. Chair is actually working his magic. We're back into IB low. Hold on. We're back into IB low. Yeah, this one's going to play with me. It doesn't look great, guys, after cracking IB low like that, putting another low in. I'm holding on to it, but I want to talk about this. First off, if you watch me trade live on here every day, I've been doing it now going on 2 years. You watch the wins, you watch the losses, you watch the progression as a trader, you watch the good and the bad. I want to talk about this account, right? Because I did a performance review. On this one from October 7th to December 31st. And since the start of the year, I've immediately taken losses. I've taken multiple full losses back to back to back. So here's my thoughts on this one in general. Number one, the losses, right? Which is always what we try to hone in on, but also the period where I was winning. The losses in here, the ones that I've taken that I've seen have been pretty solid, right? Long in here with a stop loss, just a little bit too aggressive. Could have been a little bit wider potentially. I can't really say that on another day I'm going to hit this one perfectly. Good loss. I think I had one or two short in here. Good losses. Kept myself out of getting short on something like that. I'm okay. I had some missed opportunity, man. I had Tanner traded on this day for a short play that would have looked really, really nice. I had gotten cooked on the shorts in here. I just didn't have the reserve to take it. That would have been a win, right? So there would be no losing streak to begin with, right? Then maybe I stay patient in here, which is really nice. I take an L in here somewhere on a short. I can't remember exactly where it is. Okay, great. Loss, win, loss, right? In here, big missed opportunity. This was a really clean, big missed opportunity. Coming from really two spots, trying to not get too involved, too close to the open, reviewing some data. This was 9:35 a.m. And I didn't have it marked off this high. I did it quickly. You can go back and watch the live stream. I made a whole video out of this one. But this is a really nice, big missed opportunity. Something that I probably could have held for, a nice W. And again, would probably have me sitting at break even. So I try to take responsibility for certain pieces, right? To say, what's a normal good loss? What's a, not a good loss? When did you go on tilt? When did you blow something up? What's a missed opportunity? What's a missed opportunity where you got a losing streak going and you shouldn't because you should have some profit in? I've had some good missed opportunities in here. So outside of that, where I'll also critique myself in this account, right? Because that performance review looked really good. I talked about some of the areas I needed to improve. I had a lot of opportunity, right? And you could just see, you'll be able to see it. I had a lot of opportunity that would have helped me for sure in this account. Where's October? To hold my winning trades longer, to not generate a losing trade that's larger than my average winning trade and a really high win rate. Am I always going to have that opportunity? No, if we start to chop back and forth, maybe we don't get that big extension. But within here, reviewing a lot of these, like I talked about, majority of them that I clipped continued to move in my direction and stop loss to break even. I had a number of stop loss to break even trades that there was a chunk there that I just held all day and it was a natural break even towards the end of the day, but there was a chunk in there that would have been nice winners. And when you look at when you go back and you look through, right, you say, okay, where am I at with this account? I've taken some losses. I've taken a lot of payouts on it, but I put up some profit. Now I'm getting into a danger zone, could potentially lose the account. If this continues for a long period of time, not really get into the danger zone just yet, but continue to take back-to-back losses, I will. Where would this have gone a little bit differently? What is the potential for improvement going forward? And for me, it's some of that adjustment earlier on where I did well. I should have done considerably better, right? Because you have to look at that P&L as a big chunk. The P&L that you take, right? If it's green, it could be potentially a whole lot greener, right? Should it have been greener? In my case, yes. If it's green, maybe you shouldn't have that at all because you went on tilt and you put up $5,000 that you should have never had, and it should have just been a small losing day. So those are my areas for critique in this account. What has helped me for sure, keeping my losing days really controlled. I do not have a losing day on this account that's larger than $1,000. My biggest green days are bigger than $1,000, right? I've stopped myself out without going on tilt, without continuing to trade over and over and over again to take on outsized losses, right? So controlling the downside, really, really good. Overall, creating a positive expectancy over a pretty long period of time, a decent sample size, all positive, right? All good stuff there. So, there's always room for improvement, and I like to talk about it when I'm winning and when I'm losing, right? In between there. So this is the reality of what trading looks like for me. I hope you guys can find some value in it, both when I'm hot, taking back-to-back wins, taking multiple payouts every week, and a start for last week and this week where it's just been L's. It's been straight full L's. Again, not done yet. Maybe Chair worked his magic to bring us back in through IB low, but not looking too sweet on this one as we come back down towards the lows. So that's kind of some review, stuff to think about. For me, I know where I've needed to make a little bit of my changes, right? Break even, holding trades longer, being a little bit cautious right around the open, being too short biased, right? Taking too many losses on the short side and too many wins on the long side, right? Some of those small improvements, would continue to help me and will continue to help me. So, that's the way I try to think about my trading. That's the review that I do to continue to improve. So as far as this account, again, like I talked about in the beginning, not going to size down and slow down. That's really not my MO in this account. I haven't traded it super aggressively. $1,000 risk per trade per day. It's going to be out to the individual to decide whether that's super aggressive or super not aggressive in a 15K pre-live account where I'm not able to lose all of the 15K. You could decide that for yourself. But for me, I'm going to look to trade my way through. Hopefully be conservative enough to not take too many more and dig myself into too much of a hole. But, if that's the case, that's the case. If this is a personal live account, which I think is important to differentiate, if this was a personal live account, after another full L or two, that's about the time where I'd say, okay, your approach is good, strategy's working, you've had some poor execution in there, you've generated a lot of back-to-back losses, you're starting to dig a hole. Without digging it further, in case you take some normal losses now coming up, size down, cut risk in half, cut risk, down to 3/4. While you work through some of that, put a little bit more profit back in, then start to build back up. Not that I'm comfortable and happy to lose a live account, but I've hit a lot of goals in this one so far. Now the goal is to scale, right? To start to scale. So that's what I'm going to continue on, right? Continue on attempting to do. And that might generate a lost account, right? After 4 months of trading and 11 payouts. So important to note. Hope you guys can get some context out of this one. Questions, always happy to hear. But, you guys watch it play out live every day. But I like to talk about it, right? I like to talk about the good, talk about the bad, kind of explain, what I see at least, right? And then my plan of attack. So, let's get ready, guys. We got the giveaway form is done. Giveaway form is closed. Appreciate you guys getting that one filled out. If you want to trade on Top 1 Futures, the same accounts that I'm trading here. Technically, you would have to get moved to a pre-live account before you can trade the exact account that I'm on. But these are the accounts that I did it from. Top 1 Futures, instant funded, lowest cost in the industry. If you want to check them out, link is about to be in bio. Oh, excuse me. Link is about to be in chat. It's also in bio, but link is about to be in the chat. And then we got Duck Race rolling today. Let's get it going. Code RDF is 40% off right now, guys. 40% off. Let's see. Let's get it on. Duck Race time. Duck Race. Appreciate you guys being on here as always. Appreciate you hopping on the streams. Awesome to have this community growing day over day. It's absolutely crazy. Can't believe how many people we got hopping on these live streams and growing across socials. Appreciate y'all. Let's see. A couple of you guys guys, make sure you don't put not applicable in the YouTube username, because I'm going to need to find you somehow. And that starts with the YouTube username. All right, let's go. We have 100. We got a clean hundo. We got 100 ducks in a row, guys. Remember, this is for a Top 1 Futures instant funded Ignite account. Shout out Top 1 Futures. If you guys missed it today, remember, we're doing straight to sim funded Ignite accounts from Top 1 Futures every single week. We got guests on the rest of the week. We're probably going to be giving out some more accounts. I don't know. You're going to have to hop on to see. Let's run this one. Good luck, everybody. Oh, God, that is loud. Sorry for blowing out everybody's eardrums. Let's see. As I'm watching YM trend down towards the lows. Yep. Wow. Growing cumulative volume delta on this. Interesting. Yeah, but looks like we're going to grind lower for the day. Looks like we're going to grind out lower. But we'll have some fun. We'll get somebody funded. Chatty big chat. Let's see. How do I enter the giveaway? We talked about that. Come on, chair. Struggled yesterday. Small win. Yeah, I'm cooked on this one. Yeah, transparency as always. Good to hear feedback. Absolutely. Yeah, guys, the transparency is, just so you know, the transparency is trading live. Transparency is, showing executions in real time, day in and day out, trading the same accounts over and over again for long periods of time for free, not behind a paywall, right? So, you get to see the good, you get to see the bad, you get to see everything in between. And then I try to talk about it. I try to be like, give you the why and the how and the what, right? The way that I think about all of it. So I hope that helps, man. But I don't think you can do anything more transparently than trade live every single day. Not behind a paywall, on the same accounts, showing the accounts that you're trading on, like showing the P&L and everything. It's what I always wanted out of traders when I would watch them trade or hear them talk about trading. I'm like, that's cool, man, that you're showing me the cool car and everything. You're talking about the strategy, but do it live. Do it live over a long period of time. And it was helpful. It was helpful to see what you guys maybe are seeing today over the last couple weeks, which is big runs, really lots of green, lots of good. And then the downside, right? The lost accounts, the, lost money. I used to think like I'd hop in sometimes and go, isn't it all supposed to be wins? Aren't you supposed to win every day? What's going on here? So hopefully that can provide some reality of what we're doing here. But 2 minutes left. We got a lot of bouncing around. Today on the duck race. Oh, let's go Space Duck, Sherlock Duck, loving my Tux Duck. How do I join the giveaway? They're free every day on the live streams. You got to be in the 100% free trading Discord to be able to join. Form drops. Here's the link to the Discord in case you're late to the show and you want in for tomorrow. Hop on the live stream. Good to go. We're giving away 10 accounts? Maybe. I don't know. You got to be on live streams to catch them. Really wish Top 1 Futures would have other trading platforms other than Tradeovate. What trading platform would you like so I can maybe recommend? And you can also tell that to Clay who is expected to be on the show on Friday with me here. We've got Clay, the founder of Top One Futures, founder, CEO, co-founder, co-CEO. Coming on Friday. But I'm curious, like if you're not going to trade on Trade-A-Bait, Ninja Trader, TradingView, what would you trade on? Deep charts, I don't know anybody that trades on deep charts. Rhythmic is definitely a more popular one, but certainly not as popular. You know, they have stats from all of the firms as far as where people trade. The vast majority nowadays, obviously, is Project X and Trade-A-Bait, Ninja Trader, TradingView. The stuff behind it, because I know a lot of firms look at it, it's so minimal, right? You know, guys trading directly from Bookmap and other charts like that. But yeah, I think Rhythmic would probably be cool, and I think they're open to it. Their goal is to give traders the choice, right? That's why they were fighting for Trade-A-Bait, Ninja Trader, TradingView so much, right? Where other firms are locking everybody in. But I think Rhythmic would be pretty cool. Wealth charts is still a thing. I don't know. Addis, yeah, I've heard about that one. Business Lunch. 15 seconds to go. Remember, guys, don't hop off. The person that wins has to be here. White Snake Gaming in the lead. What kind of duck is this? Mermaid duck? I don't know. Type pack. Coming from behind. Jess with the strawberry hat. Oh, Jess 7. We got a Discord OG taking the win on this one. Hold on. I don't know if Jess ever won. There she is in the chat on Kick. W's in the chat for Jess. She's been on here for forever. We got a 50K instant funded account coming to you from Top One Futures. 50K Ignite instant funded account coming to you from Top One Futures. W's in the chat. Guys, it's awesome to see. Like, I get such a mix on here. We get people that I've never seen before, new names, and we get the Discord OGs. So awesome. Thank you. Yes, awesome. Yeah, you're on here. I see it. Remember, you guys do have to be in the live chat to catch the W. She's in the live chat to catch the W. But we got one. Take the screenshot now. Hold on. Let me get rid of the thing. Take the screenshot now. We got a W in the chat. Congrats, Jess. Nice to see a Discord OG win. People that are on the streams almost every day. So awesome to see that. Hella W's. You got a ton of congrats in here. Damn, the people are hyped up. The people are hyped. I promise it's not rigged, guys. I promise that I don't hold anybody off from winning. I promise that it is random. The strawberry duck hat took the win today. Let me go ahead and bring us back over to this trade that just won't die. Before I get ready to wrap up, I'm going to talk about this one. Let me mark down that Jess is the winner from today. Also, quick note on the giveaways, guys. I know I have probably 2 or 3 people still waiting from that day that we gave away way too many, way more than I was supposed to. Accounts are coming, guys. Everybody that wins gets an account. Just chill out. You could always shoot me a message if you haven't gotten one yet. Let me know. If it takes more than a few days, if it takes more than like a day or two, really shoot me a message. I'll make sure I didn't put your email in the wrong way or anything like that. But we do a ton of giveaways, and you know, I'll make sure that everybody always gets their account. On this one, man, this would look great if we popped back up. So far, it looks terrible. We caught buyers here for a nice pop to the upside, swept that 15-minute high, came all the way back down. This looks choppy overall, kind of what I was expecting for the day, potentially choppy. I was looking at this to potentially be the bottom end of the range, right? Not extending lower. Break of IB low, much less likely that we come back up and break this high. We know the double break is not as likely. If we fail to really continue below IB low, right? You know, we get that failure to really close and hold and continue. This is not going to look as bad, but this is pretty much going to be what I'm looking for today, guys. If I'm out anywhere in between a full stop or a full take profit, it is going to be at the end of the day, right? That's going to be the stop out, right? I'll be holding this one for a move back towards this area of high volume. If we do something crazy in between now and 4 p.m., maybe I adjust, but I'm pretty much going to be looking at a move all the way back up towards untested volume point of control from yesterday. But if we, you know, just chop around, don't do anything, I don't hit a take profit or stop loss towards the close, I do try to find a way out around break even if possible. I'll call out trade management if there is any in the 100% free trading Discord, as I always do. If we trade through the 49,051s or the 49,496s, you know I'm out. So anyway, guys, appreciate you hopping on as always. Quick plug again. If you want to check out Top 1 Futures, link is in the chat, man. Be more than happy to have you supporting me, supporting the stream, supporting yourself with the best deal. But remember, do what's best for you guys. I genuinely mean that. I'm partnered, I'm biased, I'm affiliated. And even if I wasn't, I don't know what the best opportunity is for you. Oh, I'm not showing this tab. You got to do your own research. You got to make your own decisions, right? Decide the best opportunity for you. I think Top 1 Futures instant funded accounts are one of the best in the industry, which is why I'm here trading it. But check it out for yourself, right? Look at all the rules. Look at what you need to do to get paid out. Put them up against the competition. Decide this stuff for yourself. If you want to check them out, link is going to be in the chat one more time. Code RDF is going to get it done. 40% off right now. I see a couple people saying they missed the giveaways. Giveaways are every day, guys, on the chat. On the live streams. No purchase necessary. Hop on. I drop a form, get it filled out. You guys can win an instant funded account. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you're doing your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop from accounts. And the affiliate partner disclaimer that I was just talking about that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Code RDF, Top 1 Futures, Bookmap, and others. Can't be unbiased if I stand to make money. Appreciate you guys for hopping on. See you in Discord. See you live here tomorrow with more guests and more guests on Friday. You're not going to want to miss the rest of this week. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your trading day.